So I sold one of my boats to a neighbor, and I was helping, put the electrical stuff together. And they had this switch, from Amazon or whatever, and it was rated for 60 amps, and it's kind of a nice looking switch, and it's got a forward and reverse. And I put it all together, put it on the boat, and that thing is not 60 amps. It is not going to survive. So anyway, I said, you know what? I'm just going to make you a Frankenstein switch, and it will just fix the whole thing. So we're going to start with a piece of copper pipe. Just hammer it flat. Alright, let's cut off a piece. Let's see, we need that much for that. Let's cut it right about there. I'm going to trim some edges of this. Like halfway down. This is so we can open it mostly. And get into this space between. This will be important. Alright, now we need a much longer one. Alright, that's long enough. Let's flatten that out. Make sure it's nice and flat. Alright. Okay, ma'am, can you sand that till it's shiny?
Yes.
Get that one too.
Okay.
Let's get this guy in the vise. Oh, I need a new vise. This thing is getting real stiff.
Can you settle it?
Yeah, something's stuck in it. I can probably just fix it. I need to bend one side of this down. Oh yeah, sand the inside real quick. Goob enough. Put that there. That's going to go in there. We need to round the bottom. A rivet or screw? I think I'll rivet this. Okay, I don't want to drill too far down here because that'll make this pivot at the bottom there and it'll, kind of hit the bottom. So I want it to pivot kind of as far up here as I can. And this is the shorter piece, so I'll go as high as I can on that. I'll have to file a bit of the bottom edge of this off, but otherwise that's good.
You know how to screw it now?
I'm gonna put a rivet in it.
Oh,
And let me just make sure, a rivet, yeah. Let me just make sure it can move freely. I don't know, I could put a bolt in here or a rivet. This doesn't have to be pretty because no one will see it. Good. Can you file off those little nubby bits?
Yep.
Excellent. Now make sure you push with file this way, and then yeah, you can go backwards, but just don't put pressure going backwards, only forward. Yeah. This rivet is obviously way too long, so we are gonna shorten it.
Is it riveting time?
It's not riveting time yet. I need to measure the rivet. That drill bit is not the right size. Oh, come on, get in there. Stupid.
What's your leather?
Alright, I want my rivet to stick out a little bit, and I want a lock washer on there so I can keep pressure to make sure there's good contact between the parts. Alright. So I want to cut just a little bit out from there. Like right about there. Alright, ma'am. Can you cut this right on that little notch there?
Yes.
There you go. Alright, Dora, pay attention here.
Okay.
We could put this back in, now that it's shortened, and just use the rivet machine. However, we're going to make it better by basically doing the old style rivets.
What's the old style rivet?
So, where you smash it on the other side.
Right.
Alright, I've got this punch, which is about the right size to start it. You see it starts spreading it out. Yeah?
Yeah.
When it gets about like that, just make sure this still moves. Yep. When it gets about like that, you use the wider one.
Can we smash it?
See it? And then smash it again. Excellent. Once it gets to that point, now can you tell why that's better than using the rivet machine?
Because,
It spreads it out wider.
yeah, that's why.
Now that's too tight, so we're gonna have to wiggle it to loosen it up.
But you don't need the thing then? You don't need the thingy, the stick thing for the rivet now?
What's the stick thing?
The stick thing that you took out of the rivet. You don't.
No, what do you mean?
Well, why do you need it for the rivet machine? That,
you know how rivets work?
yeah, I know. Wait, it holds on it?
Okay, if we use the normal rivet machine, oh, this one's already done, but you put it in here. Oh, it wasn't fit. It has a little knob on here. The rivet machine pulls this and flares this out, and then ends up snapping off the piece. This one's already been used, so it ends up snapped off. Pulls this out, leaves the chunk there, but it doesn't flare it out nearly as good as if you hammer it. And now that is pretty good. It'll be easier to move when this is bolted down. And since we have a lock washer in there, it'll keep pressure on there and make sure it always has good electrical contact, even as this gets a little bit looser over time.
Get a lot of stuff to put in the fridge. You just need to get a bag of rice. And
All right, focus.
I'm
We can-
focusing.
Think about food in a minute. All right, this is gonna get bolted here. We're leaving more space up here because we need more contacts for forward. Reverse is only gonna have one contact, so it doesn't need as much space. And looking at the bottom here, like there's certain spots where you can put screws. So we're gonna put a screw right here through this, and it's gonna have two purposes. It's gonna hold this down, and it's also gonna be where we attach wires. These wires will go to, I don't know, either the motor or the battery. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. Okay, so we need to drill a hole through this and through that.
Why is it called a Frankenstein switch?
Do you know who Frankenstein is?
Yeah, he's in Dracula.
Do you know what he's made out of?
No.
Well, Dr. Frankenstein took a bunch of different decaying bodies and found good parts off each of them and cut them up and then stitched them together to make Frankenstein. And Dr. Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, and Frankenstein is Frankenstein's monster, and he made him out of all the parts. and he's so if you want to make something out of a bunch of parts that you cut up, then you would call it a Frankenstein thing because Frankenstein is made.
Okay, do you guys want to know why it's really called a Frankenstein switch? Come on. Okay, ready? Here we go. Look at those. Look at those switches. See, switch you use. Yep. This is not the best. This is not the original Frankenstein, but good enough. Now we have to make another one of these over here, and then a bunch of these parts that don't have the thing in them up here for contacts. All right, let's go out some lunch first.
Go make some
that is looking excellent. And I got to keep these two spots open because that's where those are the mounting holes. And I just need to make sure there's a separation so nothing on this side touches anything on this side because there's going to be electricity on. Yeah.
Then she stopped. And Jim's laughing. And she pretended you were far away from me. Go super far away because that's where it's sensitive.
Mind flares.
It was what the frickin' shit is in mine.
You don't know what a mind flare is. I have told you a million times.
A million times my butt.
You know what?
These are pretty much the exact same thing as these,
Here we go on. We're
just
making a mind
thinner
flare.
and flared out so this can slide right into there.
Making a mind flare.
And these will be connected. They go at the same time.
Mind flare. I'm gonna draw a
Boy,
mind
that's a good looking switch so far. Good stuff.
Child endangerment.
Beautiful. I could use smaller pipes for these ones because they'll be lower powered than this. So in forward, I've got a slow speed that's going to have a resistive coil to limit the current. And then full speed will be direct connect. And then reverse speed will be the same as this one, just with the wires reversed to go backwards in half speed. Okay, I gotta put something across here. Yeah, there's some good looking stuff right there. How do I attach it? Could make some slots here. This could slide right in. Then fold them over inside. All right, bend these over. That totally worked. Alright, I could put some rivets up through here, or I might have something I can just stuff in there that's really tight. Let me see. Okay, that's a little too tight, but if I slice it. Alright. Beautiful. Forward slow, full speed, reverse slow, and all my electrical connections attached to these. All right, you guys want to test the switch?
Yeah.
Just ignore all the construction goings on here. Still have wires and tools out. Whatever though. The pedals are also coming out of this boat, so yeah, we're just not going to use them. All right, first mate, are all the switches activated? Yeah. The motors turned on, all the breakers. All right, give us reverse for like 5 seconds. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was only like 3 seconds. We can check the camera. Maybe I'm full of crap. Do like 5 seconds and count out loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, that's good. Motors are doing good. Right now I just have primitive steering. This is going to be replaced by a steering wheel that's going to go right up here, and then someone can sit here. All this is getting out of the way, and then it'll be easy to reach the switch without a first mate. All right, first mate. Forward slow.
Forward. Hey, Bo,
The
don't
motor
fart.
turned the wrong way. He did fart. The switch is good?
Yeah, it's good.
Super easy to move?
But the part when you pull it out.
It's sticky when you pull it out? Well, that's kind of good. If
Because when you jam it in this part, it's hard to pull it out.
Okay, that's fine. No.
Okay, but not that much.
Okay, now go to full speed. Nice, nice, nice. Beautiful. We're just ghost riding the pedals right now. As we straighten out, we can get up to more speed. We're not wasting energy to turn. Not that it's wasting it to turn, but you know. Man, I love these motors. These are big trolling motors with, you know, aftermarket propellers, and then I made all this orange part years ago. There, that rudder's coming off. This boat, a lot of stuff's happening to this boat. Okay, sir, can you touch the switch carefully and tell me if it feels hot at all?
It does.
Not hot anywhere? Excellent, because the switch that was there, the one we just took out, here, where? Can you grab that green switch down there? It's closer this way. Hey, no, you stay where you are. I don't want everyone moving on the boat. Yeah, this is the store-bought switch. And it's supposed to be good up to 60 amps, but I mean, look how thin the metal is. I don't know if you can tell on the camera that well, but the metal down there is just, it can't handle 60 amps. I had this running one motor. It was probably running maybe 30 amps, and it wasn't melting it or anything, and I could still touch it, but man, it was like uncomfortably hot for, you know, half its rated amperage. If I put 60 amps through that thing, I'm sure it would melt. Maybe it's, I don't know. You just can't buy good stuff anymore. Maybe you can if you pay enough, but man, this switch, yeah, this will have no problem.
Because he made it.
Got big honking pieces of copper in there. It's still not hot at all, right? Put your hand on it carefully. Not hot at all. Still cool to the touch. Yeah, it's such a difference. That other switch, by this point, it would be so hot you could barely touch it. At half its rated amperage. Yeah. And it was working fine. Like the contacts were fine and everything. And it was uniformly hot. It's not like there was one contact that wasn't doing the right thing. It's just, yeah, they make them, I don't know, whatever. Who cares? I'm never buying switches. I'm going to tell other people, don't buy switches. I'll just make you one, okay? Everything else in the boat's working great though, right? What?
People a picture of the sweat.
I should show people a picture of this place?
Of the sweat.
Of the switch, yeah. I got the switch. And while tell me if we're, okay, I'm not gonna pay attention, just tell me if we're gonna hit the mangroves. So, this contact up here is direct connect from the batteries to the motor. But these two, the slow speed and the reverse slow speed, those both go through a wire that goes through this coil right here. And that's just a resistor. It's like the simplest speed control in the world and is super duper duper reliable. Like nothing's gonna happen to that. It gets a little hot, but that's it. And you know, 99% of the time this boat's gonna be driving full speed anyway, so we almost never even use the speed control. And direct connect from the battery to the motor is the most efficient way you can run things anyway. So yeah, it's like a I don't know, like a $3 speed control versus like a $650 electronic speed control from a golf cart. I've used those before, and you know, they break after a while. Yeah. But yeah, these things just, I mean, that'll last. I don't know. This one isn't even nichrome wire. This one is just a piece of stainless steel wire, which has more resistance than the copper wire, and it has enough resistance to slow the boat down to about half power. But yeah, switch seems great. Hey dude, check it again. Still cool to the touch, right? Not hot at all? Beautiful. Yeah. I love those switches. And maybe we'll paint a bit of Vaseline on it later, just to keep you know, the oxygen off it. I know, I'm steering. I'm paying attention. Don't worry. Pretty soon. Okay, this is where the paddle wheel is for the pedals. That's all going to come out, and there's just going to be a flat floor back there. And then, you know, a chair there, maybe some other seating back here. But this boat isn't for me anymore, it's for my neighbor. Alright. Switch is good. Let's go have dinner.
Yep.
Oh man, I love this boat. And I sold it right before my my little white boat got hit. So that was not the best timing. But anyway, I think I want to build another boat similar to this one. Like really similar to it. But you know, using all the knowledge I have to make all kinds of upgrades and stuff. And I might even take these pedals and put it in the new boat, since they're coming out of this one. Because these are really nice. It's super nice having a human-powered backup power system. Plus, you know, even when I don't need it, I don't know that I've ever actually been stuck. I might have been stuck a couple times and I had to pedal home. So most of the time I just like to pedal to get some exercise. I have been stuck on the big giant boat. I had to pedal all the way home because the batteries broke and blah blah blah. Yeah, it was the batteries. The motor had a problem and the batteries. Anyway, yeah, it is really nice having a backup pedal option. Yeah, for emergency situations, and so I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. And get some exercise while I'm going places.